Hey guys, Raj Sangha of Cardio Security. Today we are fitting a new Kenwood stereo to my E46 M3 CSL. I've owned the car 11 months and that's how long I've had to wait to get a slot in my own workshop. We have been super busy, and to be fair, we're not even filming today in the workshop because they've got jobs on, they've got air ride, they've got audio going on, so we've decided to film it in our overflow warehouse next to some of my cars. So it's actually a nice cool backdrop behind us. So we've got two units here, but we're not fitting both units, we're fitting one of these units. We have the DMX5020DABS, which is 6.8 inch, touchscreen, CarPlay, Android Auto. So obviously you have apps such as Waze and Google Maps, they'll work. All your Bluetooth connectivity will work with this as well. DAB radio. And then you've got the bigger brother, the 8019 DABS, which is 7 inch, wireless mirroring and so on. However, the biggest difference is the size of the unit. So I've got a tape measure here just to give you an idea. The 5020 is 800 mil. The 8019 is 1600 mil. So double the size. Now the problem you'll have with the bigger unit is, although it will fit in, it will mean that you will have to cut your heater box, which we have done in the past to many E46s. But it's not what I want to do to my CSL. So I've decided to go shallow mount. If you do decide to cut your heater box, you will have to repair that as well, because obviously it's going to be open, so you'll have no airflow. So just take that into account. If you want to do that, drop us an email and we'll tell you what else you need to do as well. So we're going with the 5020. Now, you might be thinking, hold on a second, CSL is all about weight reduction, which I get, I understand all of that. But I actually believe this Kenwood stereo weighs less than the stock stereo that's in my CSL. So I'm going to do a weight comparison. So let's weigh the stereo first. We'll take the cage off because we're using a different cage. So just the Kenwood stereo weighs 1,040 grams. Okay. As a comparison, while I'm here, although I'm not fitting the full size stereo, we'll give you an idea of weight there as well. So just under 1,900 grams. I'm going to weigh the accessories as well, just to show you what the total weight is here. So we've got the trim panel, the fascia trim panel, we've got the ISO loom, we've got the FACRA aerial adapter, and we've got the Bluetooth mic in there. That's 164 grams. And then we also have the cage, which will lock the stereo into place. So 424 grams on the accessories, 1050 or so on the stereo. So there's about 1,600 grams here. This is the total weight of the equipment that I'm putting in the car. We've got one other thing as well, which we're going to have to fit. This is actually a BMW stock part. This is the heater relocation kit. So when we take the original stereo out, we have to move the heater controls further down to allow a doubled in stereo to fit. So you need one of these. There are, from what I understand, 2 or 3 different styles of these, and they're available in black and gray. Depends if you got a stereo or a sat nav. Best thing to do is contact BMW, give them the VIN number of your vehicle, and they'll tell you which kit you need. There's also guys on eBay that will tell you the correct kit you need by giving them the VIN number. This is the correct kit for my car. Just to give you an idea of cost, anything between 80 and 160 pounds, depending on whether you have the sat nav or you just have the standard stereo. That's my part over, because I'm not fitting this. I'm going to leave this to someone who's a little bit more qualified than me. In fact, a lot more qualified than me. I'm going to leave it to one of my engineers, Jay. So he'll go through the installation process. He'll show you how the stock stereo moves out of the vehicle and why you need all these accessories and how you plug them in. And it's more or less plug and play if you know what you're doing. So Jay, come. And I've made him wear gloves because I don't want any fingerprints in my CSL. Can you make sure you don't leave any strands of hair as well?
I'll put a beard net on or something.
Yeah, if you don't mind. Okay guys, I'm going to love you and leave you, but I'll be back in a few moments.
Now before we start,
best thing to do is protect any panels of the vehicle. Accidents do happen, so we want to minimize anything that we do. So protective covers, masking tape, whatever it takes, just to protect a few surface areas. What I'm going to be doing first, rather than showing you every single step, I will explain the steps to you. So what we'll be doing is taking this panel off here, the one above the stereo, the actual unit itself, and I'll be removing this panel here. This is the relocation kit that Raj has bought to move the heater controls down below to take the aperture for the double din. So once I've released all that, I will actually show you the physical parts that I've taken off, so you can physically see the clips and where they locate in the vehicle. We've got all the panels more or less loose, most of them. So the first one you'll be taking off is this one, like I said, above the glove box. They're held in with 4 pins. So you just pry it along the bottom edge here and just be careful and they'll release up. Next one is the one above the unit. They'll pop off exactly the same way with a couple of pins. Just put these down. I've already disconnected the stereo from behind, so I can just show you guys the connections. So that's the single din unit there. There'll be 2 screws, one on either side, one there and one there. At the back you've got the quad lock harness and the aerial adapter, which you'll disconnect, and they're on just with clips which look like so. The heat control basically just pops out and you can help it along from the back, and behind there you've got 4 plugs, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So we'll be taking this around out here, which is just held on with 4 screws again, and our new cage, which Raj explained earlier, would fit in there and house our new unit to hold it in securely. So what I'll do, the next step is I'll release the original cage here and the under surround, which will house our heater controls. Then we'll more or less be ready to fit the new stereo. I'll also take the A pillar off here so we can run a microphone for the Bluetooth and the DAB antenna that will be fitting on the windscreen. So what we've done is undone this little cover strip here, held on with poppers along there. So just be careful, you sort of prise it every so often and not just yank it, because you'll end up breaking these little clips. In here you've got 3 Torx screws which I've taken off, and literally simply that pillar will now, with a little wiggle, be very careful, pull away. I say, there you go. Okay, so this is the old ashtray panel. No, sorry. Yep, that's the old ashtray panel here. We've already taken the cap off there, which was just a pocket, which just slides out. Obviously, take it out, there's 2 screws up here. So basically, 2 screws there, 2 screws there, the whole pocket comes out. I've already swapped out the cigarette lighter to the new panel here. And now we're all going to do is take out obviously the relevant button panel here and fit it into the new one. So now you can see the difference in the panels. So all it is this one here is got the curvature to allow for the heater control panel to fit in there nice and flush and clip in, whereas this one won't allow that. Lovely fit there. Turn it around. Screw it back together. So now this heater panel, see the curve on it, we'll just go in and clip. So, we're going to be taking through the heater controls, and we've got 2 plugs to plug in to the sport button panel and 2 for the cigarette lighter charging point. Right, so what I'm going to do is fasten the 4 fixing screws, 2 up here, 2 along the bottom, pop the heater panel in. I'm also going to put back all of these panels here because I've finished with them. There's no need for it to be open. Just I don't want to drop any screws in it, and I don't want panels lying around, so I'd rather just pop all that back together. Then what I'll do, I'll run the microphone, which is going to fit near the rear view mirror, and the DAB antenna, run that down to the stereo and pop the side panel on. So the last bit that we've got is actually to push the unit home, and we're basically done. Now the heater relocation panel is now in with the heater controls moved down. As you can see, it's nice and flush. Gear surrounds back in. We've now fitted a microphone discreetly near the rear view mirror, and on the left hand side near the A pillar we've now put the DAB aerial. So that will do purely for your DAB stations. The standard radio reception on AM FM is done through the factory aerial, which we've used an adapter which Raj talked about earlier, which is that one there, and the harness which plugs into the original loom, which is that one there. All I've done is tape it up so it just keeps it a bit neat behind the dash, and the 2 wires we've run down, DAB one and the mic, which are up here. So all we're going to do now is plug up the unit and power it up to make sure everything works as it should. I've already run the USB cable to the glove box because it's pre-wired at the back of the loom. So now let's just plug this up. So let's plug the ISOs in. So DAB and microphone. So we've got DAB one right here. Mic over there. And the only other one is the aerial one, which goes in here. So the unit is now all wired up. I've just got to do an earth cable here. There we go. Now this unit, I've pre-put the half cage onto the unit. As you can see, it just fastens on the side, both sides, and that's what it should resemble. So all we're going to do is just tuck the wires out the way so we don't squash anything. Careful with the dash because of the metal, and we're just going to push that back. So that's basically it. So all we've got to do is put 2 screws there, 2 up there which we took out earlier for the top heater control, and basically the panels will just clip back around it, and the fascia. So what we're going to do before we put all that back together and find out we need to change anything, we're going to turn the ignition on. And the unit should power up right now. There you go. And we're just going to go through the functions of the stereo. We're going to check the radio reception, the DAB reception, we'll check Bluetooth. Obviously the car doesn't have steering controls on the steering wheel, so we don't need to check that. We'll turn the demo mode off for now. Finish. Normally on the screens you normally get a warning message, so you're not meant to obviously view while driving and stuff. So we'll do that. Go to radio. Let's seek a station. Okay. So we're picking up quite a few stations already, which is great. We are in a building with a mezzanine floor above us, so obviously it'll be a much better outside. So I'm happy with that. Let's try DAB. What I'm just going to do is a scan on the stations. This may take a few minutes depending on the reception we gain inside the building, but I will rescan it once outside again. If I get anywhere near 60 or above, I'll be happy with that. Brilliant. So that's our DAB reception, which is picked up inside the building. As you can see, it's quite a decent list. So what I'll just do is just make sure it's picking up something, so capital. And that's playing. Great, that's it, more or less done. So what I'll do now is fit all the panels back on, and that will be the completed product. Okay, there is the finished product. Heater controls all working.
The sun setting over rolling hills, or sat out of
All buttons working.
1 in 5 motorway breakdowns were caused by time.
Right guys, this is the finished article right here. As you can see, it's a nice clean finish. Unit's not sticking out or anything. The fascia fits in pretty well. Relocation done, that's fitted in a treat. Discreet microphone, small DAB antenna. That's the only thing that's sort of on view. Apart from that, I think it looks great where it is, and it just gives the car a modern feel. You've got everything that you need: CarPlay, Android Auto, Bluetooth. That's all you really need. USB device, glove box. And Raj will explain more about the functions of the unit itself and show you it in action.
Awesome, thanks to Jay for showing you guys how to do the installation. Now, before I end this video, obviously I've got to weigh the stock equipment that's come out of the car. So we have the BMW Business CD, we have the trim panel, and we also have the pocket. Now the pocket wasn't included in that new fitting kit that I bought from BMW. So in total, 1,734 grams compared to 1,500 grams for the heater relocation kit and the new Kenwood stereo with the loom, with the fascia, and with the cage. So there's a weight reduction of 234 grams. So my BMW now is actually lighter than some of your CSLs. It's probably quicker as well now. Okay, that's just a joke. Now, there are plenty of units out there that will do similar features and spec as this Kenwood. There are plenty of Chinese units that may give you loads more features, loads more spec. We do not fit those Chinese units because typically they work out of the box. A month or two down the road, they stop working or they become very laggy and you can't get software updates for them. So that's why I've gone with a Japanese brand, Kenwood being one of the best Japanese brands out there. Any issues, there's always a software update available from the website. Download that to a USB and there you go, update the firmware. We will do a speaker upgrade at some point. The CSL door cards differ to stock E46 door cards because these are carbon fiber. We have an E46 M3 over here. So we will do another episode at some point and we'll do a speaker upgrade on the CSL and we'll do a speaker upgrade on a stock E46 M3 just to give you an idea of what it involves, the speaker adapters you require and the size of the speakers. Now guys, obviously thanks for watching. like and subscribe. That's extremely important. Questions, comments, obviously throw them down below. Anything you have about installation, specs of the unit. Now, in fact, specs of the unit, we've actually got a video that we uploaded maybe 3 months ago on our YouTube channel. We'll throw a link up to that. That'll give you an idea of exactly what that unit does, and we go into a little bit more depth than what we've done today. So any other comments about installation, about the parts that we used? As Jay mentioned earlier, there are 2 or 3 different ISO looms, fitting kits and so on. We need to know obviously year of model of your BMW, and if it has the sat nav or if it has a standard stereo. We can then obviously send you all the links to our website. So yeah, thanks for watching. That's over and out from me.